Welcome to Brunch with Besties podcast.
Hey,
I am Sherry Renee.
and I'm Chanel.
Our mission is to heal and help others as we heal and help ourselves through purpose-driven conversations.
Yep.
Today we have a special guest here with us. We have author Wendell White. Say hey to the people.
Welcome back.
What's going on? What's going on, ladies? How y'all been?
We are good. We are happy to have you.
Yes.
Today we're going to do part 2 of The Devil Thought He Had Me. I know that you guys were listening to part 1, so we may need to do part 7. Who knows?
Hey,
Who knows? We'll see how this conversation goes. But before we get into that, we're going to start like we always do with a toast. So I'll start with you, Bestie. Who are you toasting to today?
So I hope I don't steal anybody's, but I'm giving my toast to the Milwaukee Bucks. They get to hang their banner today at the Fiserv, so that's super exciting. I wish I was down there, but here with you guys recording, but I would have made my way down to Deer District. But that's exciting. So the banners go up today. They get their rings today, and they get to fight again this season. So I'm excited.
No, that's super dope. I wish I was there too, child. So, author Wendell, who are you toasting to today?
Man, I'm just gonna send my toast out just to all the young men and young women out there that's just having it rough. Man, we just gonna toast up that you guys gonna come out. This whatever you situation that you're going through is gonna make you better. You're gonna grow from it. You're gonna learn from it, and you're gonna push through it. So that's who my toast going out to.
No, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So my toast goes to everybody that was part of the cookout on Big Brother. So I don't know if you guys have watched that or not, but first of all, when they had 6 black contestants make it to the final 6, and they did that all for strategy. And the name was the cookout, and we all know what that means in our community. And so I want to give a shout out to them. And then they had the first black winner, who was Xavier, or X as they were calling him. He is a graduate of Marquette University Law School. So shouts out to Marquette and Milwaukee. Hello, somebody. And the first black winner of Big Brother. I forget the amount that he won. I feel like it was it 80,000?
I don't know. I don't recall. But he's the first black, like, regular Big Brother winner, right? Because isn't Tamar the first celebrity?
She was the first black and female, I think, celebrity winner. So that's on Celebrity Big Brother.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I had to go back and watch and binge and see how they did it. And what I loved about the way that he did it is that he never broke the plan.
Nice.
Shout out to the lady who created the plan. I cannot think of her name. I'm trying to find it. Was it Tiffany? Maybe it was Tiffany. I think it was Tiffany who created the plan. So shouts out to her for having the vision, and shouts out to him for his flawless execution. So that's my toast.
That's what's up. And like you said, it's too bad that's not real life where we could just stick together and do what we need to do.
See, that's what I loved about it, because it could be real life if we knew how to act.
It ain't.
But what I loved is that they all committed to the mission. So no matter what happened, they were like, you know what, that's my sis. I can't do her like that. That's my bro. I can't do him like that. He really getting on my nerves right now. Working my nerves, right? But we are committed to this mission, and the mission was bigger than their self-interest. And they were able to put their self-interest to the side. And there were some rocky moments, but they pulled through. So it was a beautiful thing to see, and it was amazing to be something amazing that was displayed. Of course, people are calling it reverse racism.
Of course.
I roll. But, it's neither here nor there. So let's break bread and see how we are doing. Bestie, how are you?
I was really pumped. I woke up this morning like it's Monday, it's lit. We about to have a good show. We had the book fair at school. The kids was hyped. So it was like a good day. And then a bee decided to sting me after school. And I was like, really, bro? I was having a good day. Like, here we are. But I took the bee sting like a champ. I didn't cry. I was just like, oh no, my finger hurts. And I was actually stung by a bee. So yeah, I was rolling with it, but I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm not gonna record from the studio. I'm gonna go home. But I'm still excited and pumped about this episode to talk about part 2 or finishing part 1 because there's so much to talk about. But yeah, I'm not gonna let that stop me. So just changing the narrative that Monday is a great day. It's lit.
Yes, it is. Monday is a great day. And the very busy author Wendell, how are you doing?
Oh man, I'm blessed, man. I had an awesome day at work today, just working with the kids. Just man, how much joy I get out of just sitting down, helping children with their homework, and talking over problem solving with them, just helping them in any capacity I can help them in. That always give me joy. It always free my mind. So man, just being able to be that dad that a lot of our children don't have, man, that always do some joy to my heart. So man, as long as God continue to just put me in the elements where I can blossom and grow and help other people grow, I'm always gonna be good.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, you always do have that really like radiant, positive energy and messages.
Always.
And even you post them in our group
Yes,
and in Brunch with Besties. So we appreciate that. It's a good way to start off the day.
sure is.
Appreciate
Good
it.
way to start off the day.
Thank y'all for letting me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm like, it's yours. You can have it.
It's yours, okay?
I had to get out of a couple groups, man. I'll post something and they done told me like, man, the administrators will hit me like, no, this ain't that type of group. And I'll be like, you know what, you right, this ain't that type of group. So I'm just gonna remove myself up out of this group because I don't know people that don't. If you around people that don't want to be motivated and don't want positive energy, like it ain't like I'm coming on there talking about Jesus and doing. I can understand that if that's not, but giving somebody some positivity, letting somebody know that they great, that they can do something. If you saying you don't want that type of energy on something that you're doing, you right. It's not the group for me. So I'm just gonna remove myself up out of that group.
Yeah, that's true. I could see even if you were like pushing your book or trying to
Right,
make
absolutely.
sales. But it's
Absolutely.
like just genuinely, good morning, y'all. This is what was on my heart today. Go out there, be great.
And that's it.
Okay.
And that's it. I got my own page to push my own product. I don't need nobody. I ain't gonna use nobody else's platform to push my product. But at the end of the day, man, who don't want to? God give me something good every day, so why not give it to somebody else every day? When He waking me up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, giving me something. Guess what, God? Before I write the messages, I always ask God, what is it that your people need? He the one lead me to them messages and break down certain things, what to say, and you know what I'm saying, give me a topic, and then I just run with it. So man, at the end of the day, like man, God used me to help your people, and so man, that's everybody don't want that, and that's fine. I'm not mad at you.
We want it, so you're more than welcome to post it in our group.
Right. That's what our group is all about.
That is what our group is all about: uplifting, healing, introspect. Getting some perspective on ourselves, learning and growing.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate that.
With those people. I'll tell you stop. What is wrong with people? Jesus. Okay.
But you just gotta understand, man. That's just people, and you take the bitter with the sweet, and you just keep it moving. Don't. Yeah. One thing the Lord been dealing with me about is about the spirit of offense. Mm-hmm. Don't be so offended. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? You done did some things that I should have been offended about. So you can't just be so offended when people don't agree with certain things that you believe in, or certain things that you doing. Guess what? Different strokes for different folks. That ain't y'all thing, and I got to respect that. But I just don't want to be a part of it. So I'm just gonna remove myself. I ain't no used to you tagging along on my Facebook page talking about something. I just got a group. I'm just gonna remove myself from your group, and y'all have y'all group do y'all thing. And I ain't mad at you.
And you said it perfectly, right? Like, hey, if this ain't what the group want to do, that's cool. But that means that we're not aligned. So I will remove myself from the group. Ain't no ill will, right? You go ahead and do your thing, group. I will go in where I am celebrated, not tolerated, right?
I know, man. Speaking, that's what I'm talking about.
That's all that is, right? If that's just not your group, that's it.
Absolutely.
And that's all it is. But so what am I doing, or how am I doing? I am traveling for work yet again. I have been on tour for the past, feels like maybe 4, 6 weeks, something like that. I don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know. I'm just always in the air. But yeah, I think last week I was in Dallas, and now I am in another location. So
You
I am. What you say?
said, where am I at today?
I just be trying to follow the itinerary. You know, that's all. That's my goal in life. Just to follow the calendar and the itinerary. But
Right.
I just had a great dinner with my coworkers. I'm out here with a few coworkers. So tomorrow we're gonna get down to business. Today was really just a travel day. So I am in the hotel, but all is well.
Awesome.
All is well.
Yay.
So yes, so now it is time for tea time. And
Yay.
I think that it is appropriate to get tea time started by asking Author Wendell or Mr. Windy City if he could tell us about his amazing interview that he had with the 700 Club.
Man, first of all, man, I thank God for that interview. I thank God that He aligned that interview up because it was all His doing. Because man, I don't know if that 700 Club is huge. That's huge. The 700 Club been around since before I was born. So and the 700 Club is huge. So I don't take it lightly. But man, it was an amazing experience when the people reached out to me about my story. Through they had heard an interview that I had done, and they reached out to me through my email, and we began to talk. And they were saying, "Hey, man, we want to have you, and we want to have you as like the main story. Like it's an hour show, but we want to have you like the main story. So, man, we want to fly to Milwaukee, and then we're gonna sit down and interview you." And he told me, he said, "Man, I need you. I need you all day." He said, "Man, it's gonna be from like 8:30, 9 o'clock till man whatever time we finish, but it's gonna take some hours." So I'm thinking like, man, okay, it's gonna be 2, 3 hours. Man, that man had me to like 4 o'clock that afternoon. Like I'm talking about, it was hot, it was 90 some degrees, and but I really enjoyed it. It was just being able to tell my story in a different perspective, um, telling my story to especially to people like I don't think you know I don't want to word this the wrong way. I don't think like white people really kind of understand our stories and the things that we go through in life. I don't think when they look at us and see that yeah, I did make some mistakes, but now I'm correcting my mistakes by doing this. I don't quite think that a lot of them really understand. I think a lot of them look at us and say, well, once a game banker, always a game banker. Once a drug dealer, always a drug dealer. And it's not that. God said we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So who are they to look down on me for what things that I've done? But man, it was a great experience. And then the next day, the guy, the producer of the show, he reached out to me and he said, "Man, Wendell, man, we had an amazing turnout yesterday." He said, "Man, 365 people gave their life back to the Lord after seeing your interview." He said, "So, man, and a couple of people had hit me up on Facebook and was just saying, man, I watched your show and I watched your thing on 700 Club, man. I'm proud of you." So it was just a good moment, man. It was a good moment. God got all the glory out of it, and lives got saved, souls got saved. So at the end of the day, that's what really is all about. It's not about the book. One thing I always ask God, and I told y'all this the first. If I sell 1,000,000 copies, I want to help 10 million souls get their life back to Christ. You know what I'm saying? I wanna always. I don't. It's not about money with me. I never put money on somebody's soul. You
Right,
know. So if it's God's will, and I don't make a quarter, but 250,000 people get saved and give their life back to Christ because of my story, I'm willing to do that. I'm down for that. You know what I'm saying? So, man, we just gonna give a shout out to the 700 Club, and man, we gonna give a shout out to God for allowing me to go through that testimony. To be able to touch people, and just want to say, man, if God did it for him, He could do it for me.
right.
Amen. Woo.
Well, that was amazing. When I was just minding my business, just scrolling, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, hold on. But no, they did a phenomenal job of condensing all the details of your life because as we talked about before on the first episode, there's so many things that you have been through, so many things that have happened, but they did a really phenomenal job of illustrating it in a way or depicting it in a way where people can understand, like, okay, this is what happened, this is where he was, kind of sharing some of the highs, some of the lows, and
Absolutely.
then kind of wrapping it up with your overarching message, right?
Yep.
Like they did a phenomenal job, and I was blown away when I was scrolling minding my business on my timeline, and I was like, wait a minute, I
That's
know him.
me. Yes. I'm like, wow, like I guess I'm still in awe because I haven't seen it because I'm kind of on Facebook, but not really. So just hearing it as we started to talk before the show, I'm like 700 Club, like
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
show.
those 700 Club shows will definitely suck you in. So when I saw it, I was shocked, but then it made sense, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, this is the type of stuff
Yep.
that they would have because they're
Absolutely.
really trying to show true transformation. Because
Mhm.
a lot of people do improvement, right? Like
Absolutely.
incremental improvement,
Absolutely.
which I support. But this is a total transformation.
Yeah.
And that's really what they're trying to depict. So it would make sense to me that they did want to reach out to somebody like you because this is a straight turn.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
360 for sure. Wow. Congrats to you. That's amazing. 700.
That's
Hey, man, it's better, but you know what? That's all God's doing. That's one thing about it is one thing that I'm learning, and I'm learning this every single day. Man, you line up with the word of God, God gonna line up with you. You know what I'm saying? Like God is he's not gonna go back off of his word when he's saying that he's gonna do this. Only thing he want us to do is submit and do what he's asking us to do. When we do what we asked to do, man, he gonna make sure everything else is straight. So everything that I'm asking him for, as far as somebody turning it into a movie and this, that, and the third, God know who he got in store for that. So I don't even have to worry about that no more. I don't even worry about things like that no more. I just let God do him. And you know what, Lord, I'm just gonna keep giving you the glory. I'm gonna keep letting you do you. I'm gonna keep letting you open these doors, and I'm gonna just keep living obedient. And hey, we gonna work, we gonna rock and roll like that together.
Amen.
right. And I know that obviously the whole reason why you even wrote the book, right, is because you wanted to really impact people, right, and draw them to Christ. So how did it feel to have the 700 Club say? Did you say 300 and how many?
365 people.
How did that's one person a day in a whole year? Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
How did it feel to have a 700 Club say that 365 people, human beings, made
Well,
a life commitment to
it
God?
was humbling. It was humbling, first of all, because one thing about it is I never want to get beside myself and be act like it was me that did that, because it wasn't me. God allowed me to go through that. He allowed me to have that testimony. He allowed me to stay alive long enough right now to be able to share my story and share his grace and his mercy on our lives. So at the end of the day, man, I was humbled. I was very humble, and I just told the man when he texted me and said that, I can show you the text message right now. My this is what I said. Glory to God. That's all I said. Glory to God. And man, when he didn't text back, I began to pray, and I just began to thank God for all 365 other people. And God, you know what they need. You know, nothing that you do is by accident. You an intentional God, so you know what they going through. You know what the troubles that they're going through, what they need. So God, I'm just asking you to help them. You know what I'm saying? Help them in whatever capacity that they need help in, because you had to help me. And I know you can help them because you helped me. So I instantly, what I'm learning, and I'm learning this every day, is when you do get those victories, right? When we get those victories, man, we can't never not reference God when we get those victories. See, God want to make sure that we gonna come right back, not tonight when you go to bed, or tomorrow when you wake up. Man, reference God right then and there. Lord, thank you. I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of that, and I thank you for the 360, because I didn't do nothing. That was all you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But I thank you for using me. Because you could have chose anybody in the world, but you chose me. So Lord, I thank you for that. And man, God got the glory, and I hope the 365 people, I hope they doing well today.
That is such stories on top of stories. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure it had to have been humbling and for them when they reached out and gave you that first email, like, hey, we heard your story on another interview that you did. We want to have you on the 700 Club. Like, what was going through your mind reading that initial email?
You know what? Because the thing about it is, I remember watching the 700 Club back when I was young with my grandmother. You know, that was one of those shows. If you miss school, you know, you know what I'm saying. If you miss school and grandma, you know, we ain't had grandmas back when I was younger. They ain't like grandmas today. They ain't gonna give you no phone and no tablet. It wasn't none of that back when I was 7, 8 years old. So you know what I'm saying. You sat right on side of the couch and you watch whatever grandma done watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It wasn't no, you didn't go to school, you don't have fun.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
So you
it was court shows and the 700 Club.
Yes,
Judy.
you gonna either watch. You gonna watch the 700. I can still remember the rundown. The 700 Club came on at 9 o'clock on Channel 32 in Chicago on Fox 32. Man, they came on at 9 o'clock, and then after that, Grandma gonna turn to one of them stories. All my children or something like that. And man, you gonna do this all day. You hear me? And when I got the email, man, I was excited because I knew who they were. You know, I knew the magnitude of the people that had reached out to me, who they were. So when they did it, man, I reached out to my pastor and his wife, and I told them, man, look, this was going on, and they was excited. They wow, and my pastor, he called me. Pastor called me. He said, "Bro, do you know who?" I said, "Yeah, do you know who they are?" Yeah, I know who they are. Do you know who they are? He was like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "Man, I'm proud of you." He said, "Bro, that's huge." He was like, "That's huge," you know. And I was telling my wife because my wife didn't know who they were, so I was explaining to her like who they were, like man, these big time folks. Like man, this ain't just no, you know what I'm saying, no little bitty people. These people's all over the world. So but again, still have to be humble and thank God, I thank you for this opportunity, and just trying to, God, let me decrease and you increase in everything and you get the glory out of it. So man, you however it come out, it's gonna come out, and I know you're gonna win out of it. And look, man, 365 people, so God won,
Yes. Ooh. I'm gonna see if we can link it in our show notes so people can watch it. But yeah, you were so humble with it that I was like, do he know what he just did? Because the way that you wrote it on Facebook, I was like, I don't know if he gets what this is.
But you know what though, sis, I'm learning every single day. I never want to get ahead of myself. I never want to get beside myself. You know what I'm saying? I want God to be able to trust me, because one thing that I know for a fact that I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, right? I know this for a fact. But at the end of the day, I never want to ever get to a place in my life, and if I don't put this fight out before it even start, to let myself know you ain't did nothing. You ain't doing absolutely nothing. So you don't take no glory for this. You don't do, you know what I'm saying? And as long as I keep that mentality, and that's always giving God the glory, no matter how big I get, I'm always going to be small. I'm always going to be the smallest person in the room. And that's what I really want to do, because I know everything that God blesses me with is to go bless people. It's not for me. It's to go bless people and introduce people to the kingdom and let them know, hey man, the same God. Let me tell you my story, and let me show you how the same God did it for me. He want to do it. He want to do it for you. Not that he can do it for you. He want to actually do it for you. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's my role that God has. That's one of the reasons why God done already told me that I'm going to be a multimillionaire. He told me this. So I just sit back and I just let God do him, and I just do, whatever. God, what is it that you want me to do today? I'm willing. I'm a willing vessel. I'm going. Yeah, you want me to go to Afghanistan? I'm on my way. We out of here. You know what I'm saying? I want to be like the book of Eli. I'm going. Can't nothing kill me. Ain't nothing gonna kill me, because I'm on a mission from God.
Right. He understood the assignment.
God is, he is raining the blessings down. So we are so proud of you. That's amazing. And we are humbled that you are here with us again. And with us next week. So that's exciting. Yes. So volume 2 of this book. So I don't even know where we left off. Sherry Renee, do you know where we left off in volume 1?
I feel like so it was still in volume 1, but I felt like it was the dog bite.
I don't remember.
That's what I was thinking when you came back to Milwaukee. So, and you know what? We have to give some background for our listeners, in case they did not listen to volume 1. So, can you give us some background on who you are, what your book is about, and what led you to write it?
Well, first of all, man, I'm not gonna even say author. I'm Wendell White. Man, I come from the city of Chicago, south side of Chicago, born and raised my entire life. Grew up without a mama or dad, just in the streets, hustling, doing my thing. And just with that, living that life of sin, so much stuff came with that. Murder, death, mayhem, all sorts of things just happened. And I'm trying to just sum this up, because if I try to tell it all, man, we'll be here till tomorrow. So it was just everything that goes on in the life of a drug dealer, in the life of somebody, in the life of a womanizer, the life of a drug dealer. So it was just, man, it was a lot of life being lost. You know, that's one thing that I regardless of what I go through, I always remember like all the friends that I lost in that gang banging era of my life. Like I lost so many of my dear friends who I call brothers, you know. So man, when I got kidnapped and that, man, laying in that hospital bed for 6 weeks, man, I just told myself, man, like I wanted to write a book. And it wasn't me that told me that I wanted to write a book. That was God giving me that at 18, 19 years old, that, you know, you gonna write a book. I want to write a book, but I know now that was nobody but God. He was just setting me up. Back in 99, he was setting me up for 2021, you know. So we fast forward here, man, and I finally wrote the book. The Devil Thought He Had Me, volume 1 and 2. And I wrote the book, man. I wrote the book just to show people the real grace of God, because we use that term so freely. We use that term and really don't understand the real true grace of God. When you really understand the really true grace of God and his mercy is everlasting, man, you wouldn't even throw that term around so freely like that. And it was God's grace and his mercy that kept me. I know guys that got put in the trunk of a car. They are not here with us. I know guys that been hit in the head with bats and stuff like that. They not here with us. So for me to go through all that and still make it out, and I still got all the activities of my limbs. I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm still all clothed in my right mind. You can't tell me that there's not a God, you know. And God was with me. God kept me for a reason. He kept me for a purpose, and it was for this purpose right now that I'm on right now. And it's just right now he's equipping me to just go out and touch his people all over the world. And he know I'm willing to go. And if you look at the world that we live in right now, just think about how many people that's going to listen to me that wouldn't listen to a let's say a 60, 70-year-old pastor or something like that. And there's no knock to them, but you have to be relatable to these kids right now today. See, I can relate to them because I listen, I done sold the drug. I done did this, I done did that, I done carried the pistol, I done shot the gun and all this. But let me show you a different way how you can get out of that, and it's gonna benefit you. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got to worry about, you know, if you gonna eat tomorrow. You ain't got to worry about nobody killing you. You ain't got to worry about doing none of that. But let me walk you by your hand and show you, and not try to tell you, because what we are losing our kids right now is because everybody try to talk at them instead of sitting them down and talking to them. Talk to them. Make them understand why that's a bad idea. Make them understand, you know, talk to their heart. Like I always tell people, was you talking at them or was you talking to them? Well, I was talking to them. Was you talking to the person or was you talking to the person's heart? Because see, I'm trying to talk to your heart. I don't want to talk to you personally as a person, because guess what? You could be listening to me and just letting it go out the other ear. But when I talk to your heart, I'm planting seeds. I'm planting seeds when I'm talking to your heart. So guess what? When I plant those seeds that's in your heart, one of you ladies gonna water them, and then God gonna get an increase. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all gonna come right behind me. Y'all gonna talk to them C's as well. Y'all gonna talk to them and they gonna say, man, guess what? A guy named Wendell told me the same thing. You know, you go. That's what I'm saying. And that's how we help one another. That's how we build and help one another. But saying, oh man, you dumb, somebody gonna kill you. Who listening to that? Who wanna hear?
Nobody.
Ain't nobody listening to that. Don't nobody want to hear that.
Exactly.
So
So, okay, you started off by saying, a lot of people don't really understand grace and mercy. What is your definition, or how do you understand it, and how can you explain it?
what grace is something like this. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve the grace that God has for you, but I love you so much that I'm willing to give you another chance. That's my love for you. I'm willing to give you another chance. And when we really truly understand the grace of God, that's when you know how to have grace for other people. Even when people treat you wrong, even when people talk about you and lie on you and do all sorts of things that they shouldn't do, call you every name but the child of God. The grace that you have to always think about is God gave me grace, so I have to extend grace to somebody else. Especially as a Christian, ones that say, man, I'm a Christian, I'm living for the Lord, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. How you living for the Lord, but you won't forgive nobody? How you say you living for the Lord, but soon as so and so say something to you, now you mad, you so upset, you don't want to talk to him no more. I'm gonna give you an example. Friday, I got a phone call, right? I got a phone call from a guy. He was just telling me, like, man, bro, just watch your back. Man, so many people talking about you, don't like you, woo, 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 this. I'm like, all right, bro, that's cool. I appreciate you calling me, you telling me. Sunday, here comes Sunday. One of the guys that he was telling me was doing all the talking about me was going through something. And guess what? Guess who he had to come talk to? He had to come talk to Wendell. Guess what? By the grace that I'm going to give you, I don't even care about what you did or what you said. I have to help you because as a
Right.
child of God, God is not going to be pleased at me if I look and say, man, I ain't finna help him. This nigga was just talking about me. He was just doing this. He was just doing that. God don't care about that. And guess what? God had him go send me my way. See, these are the things like the Bible say God don't test you with sin, but that was the test right there. God said, I'm going to test you like this to see, would you have enough grace to extend to my son when he needs you? Or are you going to let your flesh get the best of you and say, oh, what you not going to do? What you not going to do when my son needs you right now? It don't matter what he did.
Right.
And that's what grace is. That's what God show us every single day. Even when we don't live for him, he wake us up every day and say, you know what? This is what God did. This is what I did. So that grace, man, that is so critical. That grace is just like up there with forgiveness. That grace and forgiveness running neck to neck. You know what I'm saying? We can't truly say that we are men and women of God if we don't want to show other people grace and we don't want to forgive them, because that goes against everything that God believes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think about grace, I certainly think about it in the sense of we don't deserve it, but I also think about it as in you don't know when it's going to run out.
Absolutely.
Because while I definitely agree, forgiveness don't mean reconciliation,
Yes.
right? But forgiveness certainly does mean, are you going to act in love, right? So if you see that somebody needs something, are you going to be a child of God, right? And go stand in the gap. There's that verse that says, um, I needed water and you gave it to me. I needed food, you gave it to
Right.
me. I needed clothing, right? You gave it to me. So it's one of those things where it's like, are you going to still, even though you have the power to say no, are
Right.
you still going to have the heart for yes? Right. In that moment, it doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation, though, but it also makes me think about the fact that we don't know when grace is going to run out. And that's where I think that people get grace mixed up, because people always want grace.
Mm-hmm.
We always want grace. I always want grace. But you don't know when the last time is going to be the last time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you can be stealing and you just want to keep getting away with it. There's going to be a time where you get caught and you got to actually be accountable. There's going to be a time if you're doing drugs, there's going to be a time when that last hit is going to be your last high, because now
Right.
you're not waking up,
Absolutely.
right? Like there's grace does run out.
Yes, it does. It
It
does.
absolutely runs out. And I think that when we have the idea that because it's so common, right? Like God always talks about grace, we almost think that we're entitled to it. But the root of the understanding of grace is that you do not deserve this. You
Absolutely.
deserve death.
Absolutely.
We take
The
it.
wage of sin is death. That's what you deserve.
Yeah, we take it for granted, or we're always like, well, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Um,
Tomorrow.
but no, like you said, like it runs out. So wow, that was deep.
It runs out, and that's why it's so amazing. Because my dad says the same thing, because he spent a lot of time actually doing drugs, right? So you were dealing, he was doing. And
Right.
he always says, I have a lot of friends that never woke up,
Mhm.
or they are not the same person. Their mind is gone,
Yeah.
right? They lost everything, and he's like, and God had the nerve to give me back my entire family,
Wow.
start a business, like do the most. And so it's always like, but we don't know, right? So that's why we can't depend on grace,
Right.
because grace is not, it is gonna run out at some point, especially
Absolutely.
when we think that we're just entitled to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, that's true, sis. That's true. That's so
yeah,
true.
Yeah, and for people to recognize that too, and then to be merciful of that, like Wendell said, like how thankful and humble and gracious that he always is. I think just giving back and just celebrating that and thanking God all the time. So people, even for the small things, like all the time, you should be thanking and being gracious and being humble. And but we don't think like that, we humans, and like you said, we think that we're entitled to this, or tomorrow I could do it. But nah, like especially living the life that you wrote about in your book, we know that life is dangerous. It can be dangerous. So
and it's
living
not something to be played with, right? Like
Absolutely. And
one life, it ain't no dress rehearsal. This is it.
especially when you come from, like, when you done dealt with some of the things that I've dealt with in life. So now I look at life totally different.
Mhm.
Like I look at life, I appreciate life because I know I didn't have to be here. See, when you never had those life and death experience, or somebody ain't almost killed you, or you don't know nobody that been through, you kind of tend to look at life and like, well, I don't get what he get out of it. I don't understand that. But when you done came and you done laid in that hospital bed with breathing tubes, and they doing this to you and they doing that to you, you kind of look at life and you say, you know what, man, this I really didn't have to be here. I really did. See, when you wake up and you understand that, then you really start humbling yourself. And even my prayer life done changed. Like my entire prayer life done changed. Like I used to pray a certain way, but like my whole entire prayer life done changed, because now God was just teaching me about favor. And that favor is just like another thing about that grace, that the unmerited favor of God, something that you don't deserve. You don't even deserve this, but I'm going to give you a favor. I'm loaning you something. I'm loaning you something that you really did. You would never, ever in life be able to get what I'm about to give you. You don't deserve nothing that I'm about to give you, but I'm gonna give it to you just because I just want to look out for you. You, my
right,
man, I want to look out for you, but please don't never think that you deserve this. And I understand, like, the reason why he's taking me through the steps that he's taking me through is because of the things that he's about to do financially in my life. So I never get beside myself.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I would never get to the point where I feel like I did this, I made it. No, I ain't made nothing. God, you made this, so whatever you want me to do, I'm willing to do. If you told me to go give it all away, guess what I'm gonna have to do? Give it all away, because it don't belong to me anyway. You get what I'm saying?
hey,
So
no,
Mhm.
that's good. That's
It's
good.
it
But
should.
it also makes me think, so being that you did find yourself in a lot of situations where it could have ended in death, right? Where you weren't necessarily sure of the outcome. And by the grace of God, you did always sort of land on your feet, which was amazing, right? I mean, are you a cat? Is it 9 lives? What kind of feline are you?
I'm a Capricorn.
And listen, and that's the arm for Jesus. Jesus, I got him. Don't worry, like I got him protected.
But so the thing about when people, so this is one thing that my dad was trying to explain to me too, right? Because he too got away with murder. Okay, he got away with a lot of things, and he said that sometimes the getting away with stuff makes you not be able to take accountability, right? So for example, he was like, eventually, like I'm glad that, like, he told me, a lot of people, because he was on drugs, right? And you know how people on drugs, they do crazy stuff. They become liars, cheaters, stealers, right? They just, stuff happens. It's the drug. So in any case, he told me this one time that, I back then I always still wanted to talk to him. I was a complete daddy's girl. And then one day he called and I was like, no, I don't, because again, we don't know when grace gonna run out.
Absolutely.
So I didn't said yes. How many times? And then one day I just said no. I can't do it anymore, right? And so we have our relationship now, right? All is well. But he told me, he was like, it really hurt, but I'm glad that you said no, because that's when I hit my rock bottom.
Yeah.
Because he's like, my baby?
Right.
Like,
girl, yeah.
So that's when he was like, okay, now something's got to give. Because people don't really have an incentive to change unless it benefits them. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if everybody is still saying yes and going along with this and it's okay, there's no point to change. So my question is, how did you learn accountability? Because you do have a lot of grace and a lot of favor. Right. So what made you learn to be accountable?
Well, you know what, sister, and that's a great question, and I have to be honest with you. I didn't learn accountability until I got saved. And I was 33 years old when I got saved. I'm 40 now. I didn't learn accountability till I got saved because it was nobody around me to hold me accountable. We, like everybody that I hung with, we all did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no mothers or no fathers or nothing like that to tell me, you was doing something wrong. And all of my aunties and uncles, they were strung out on drugs. My mother stayed in Milwaukee, and even if she would have still lived in Chicago, she wouldn't have been able to hold me accountable, because you got to understand, in the first book I talked about it, my mama and them is the ones that introduced us to selling drugs. So with that being said, like, if nobody is holding them accountable, how can she hold me accountable for something that y'all started?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I really didn't even understand what accountability was, if somebody was trying to hold us accountable back when I was in the streets like that, the first thing we'll say is, man, mind your business. Stay out my business. Mind your business. You know what I mean? And even though the person might be right, what they're saying, we'll say, I just don't like how they said it. But was it right? Forget how they said it. Was it right? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know what accountability was. I didn't know how to, that's why it didn't bother me, with this woman and that woman and hurting this person and hurting that person. And as long as the police didn't catch me. I never had no understanding of who God was, who Jesus was. I was taught in a black home, as long as you believed in Jesus, you was going to church. I didn't have no clue about who Jesus was and none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like this. When we out there doing wrong and hurting folks and doing all that, we thinking God understand. Because I done had this conversation with people before, like, man, God understand we had to do that. You did not just have to do that. Like you did. How did you just have to go burn these people's house down?
Right.
How did you just have to do that? Like in book 2, I talk about how, we was all sleeping in the house one day and they came and threw cocktail bombs through the house and tried to burn the house down. And they did that about 1, 2 o'clock. By 4, 5 o'clock that morning, we had burnt all their houses down and cars down. God not looking at that saying, I understand that. God don't understand that. He looking at us and said, what are you doing? Like, what are y'all doing? But we so naive in our mind. We used to have these conversations like, bro, you think we going to hell? no, you ain't going to hell because God understand what we had to go through. God understand this kill or be killed. God looking at you and said, no, I don't understand that. I understand nothing what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? So with that accountability factor, that's why accountability, it starts when our children are young and we start teaching them how to be accountable. But you can't teach somebody how to be accountable if you're not being accountable. You got to be accountable. You know, so now since I just learned accountability, and guess what? I love it. I love being accountable because it keeps me where I'm at. It keeps me where I'm supposed to be. You know, it stopped me from doing things that I know I shouldn't be doing. Every week, man, and it is no exaggeration. Every week, somebody from Chicago called me and asked me, do I want some drugs?
What?
Every week.
Wow.
At least once a week, somebody from Chicago called me and asked me, do I want some drugs? At least one time. You know what I mean? But
that's crazy.
But you know what though? The whole thing about it is, man, regardless of what they want, I got to hold myself accountable. And guess what? Nobody else is around me.
Yeah.
Nobody else is around me. I can easily go get the drugs, come back with nobody know nothing, but God know.
Right.
God know. So with that accountability factor, it's just certain things that I just got to say, you know what? I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to wait for God. Man, about 2 months ago, man, I'm talking about, I'm with one of my buddies. We got a cleaning service. I got a cleaning service. I'm with one of my buddies. We at this crib, we cleaning. I get a phone call. It's a guy from Chicago. Man, I got a Kia cocaine for you. I got a Kia heroin for you right now. Bro, come on, jump on the road. Come get it, man. Now you got to understand, off the Kia heroin, you going to make almost $500,000 if you do it right. You know what I'm saying? If you do it right, you're going to make 500,000. Off the Kia coke, you might make 50, 60,000. If you do all this the right way, right?
Chanel, we can pay off our student loans. I'm just like,
and buy a bag of chips with the change.
but guess what though? I might not make it back.
No. Because again, we don't know when that grace gonna run out, right? So because we always think that we have one more time. And so I got my sister watching Private Practice, and there's a character on there who has a drug addiction and it spiraled out of control. She met this guy. They both was doing drugs together, right? I mean, he was teaching her all kind of ways to do it because she was just taking pills. But then she started doing it all kind of different ways. And, you know, he told her, he was like, I love you. Like, I want to have a family. But he came from drugs. And he was like, but my kids can't grow up like this. And she was like, what? Like, you want to be with me like forever? And he was like, yeah. Like, let's get married. Let's have kids. But let's stop doing this. And then they was like, okay, so then they found all their little bags of drugs and they was supposed to throw it in the toilet. So they make it to the bathroom. They're about to throw it in the toilet. And she grabs his hand and she says, wait, one more time.
Ooh, no.
And they say, all right, one more time. And he injects her and then he does himself. And she wakes up in the morning and he is dead. To me, and that effed her up.
Yeah, it crushed her.
It crushed her up for seasons to come on that episode, on that show.
Wow.
And to me, that's the perfect display of grace running out, because you don't know when the last time. Because we calculate, oh, she's like, I'm going to do it one more time, then I'm going to give it up and I'm going to have a family. That's your plan, honey. But you were at a pivotal moment and you don't know what's going to change the trajectory of your life.
Absolutely.
And that's why we can't just, do things that are always so self-serving, because does it really serve me, right? It might serve me in the short term.
Right.
But maybe, what is that long term looking like?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That's true.
Tomorrow is not promised to anybody. And I think we've all seen that. And, people die young or, they're gone too soon and all of that. We all have encounters with that. So tomorrow is not promised to anybody. But when you talk about accountability, Wendell, it makes me think about just the book in general. So you said God spoke to you and told you that you needed to write this story when you were 18, 19, like in the hospital, down and out. You was in there. But then you weren't saved until you were 33. But as I'm reading the book, like I hear a lot of that accountability and that wisdom. So you will like say like, oh, we went to this like house, we shot at them, whatever. but then like kind of some foreshadowing, like you're talking to yourself as your younger self, like, yeah, I know that wasn't the right thing to do, but this is what I'm doing right now. So it's like those accountability pieces are like trickled through the book now that you're older, you're wiser, you're saved. So what do you think like your rock bottom was? What got you to that point?
When I got put in the trunk, and as y'all finished reading the book, you know, from book one, my uncle, who I was in love with, you know, my uncle ended up the one putting me in the trunk.
I saw that. I was like, what house, right?
Yep. So
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So
I was like, guys, this is not a plot.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I'm like, this has to be a movie. This is a plot. Quick.
Yep. So rock bottom, and you know what? I wasn't even at rock bottom when he did it. Where I hit rock bottom at is when I was in the hospital, and my guys came and seen me. You know, I looked terrible. Like I was beat up very, very bad. I was beat up real bad, and they came and seen me, and they was just saying like, man, what's his address?
Because he put out the hit, right?
I mean, he was the first one to hit me with the bat. He was the first one to hit me with the bat. So and I told my guys, I said, man, I can't, man, y'all can't do that to him. I'm saying, man, y'all, because they was finna go kill him. And I said, nah, I said, man, his kids. I said, man, his kids, man, my grandmama. I said, man, they said, man, he ain't think about your mama. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking about my grandmother. You know, I'm thinking about his kids. You know, he got 3 kids at the time. And, you know, I actually was, he used they bet. We dropped them off at the park for baseball practice, and he told them to leave they bet in the car, you know. And they all walked out on me. Everybody walked out on me, and I was alone. I was alone for like the first time in my life. I was alone. I was broken. I was hurt. You know, I was betrayed, and I didn't have nothing. You know, I didn't have no money. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have nobody. Everybody turned their back on me. You know, I was already going through some stuff with some of my cousins and some of my guys from the hundreds. So I had went back down low to start messing with them. So it was like I had nobody to turn to, and I was alone. And I sat in that hospital for like 8 weeks, man. Not even my mama came and seen me. You know,
That's a
I was
long
just
time.
alone, man. I was alone, and even right now, even I talk about it, I just get emotional because I've never had that feeling before. Like I was alone, like I was alone, like, and I didn't have anyone. Like I had my best friend, you know, she was there, her boyfriend with her baby daddy, you know, her mama, they were there, but you going through something like that, you want your own mama. You know what I'm saying? And all the people that you have taken care of and helped and did like that, they won't even come see you at the hospital, you know. And then you know, my best friend, she reaching out to my aunties and all that, and you know, they telling her that's what I get. They should have killed me, and you know, stuff like that. So when you hear stuff like that, man, like that hurts. You know, that'll kill a person by itself. You know, like, man, all the things that I've did for you, like you done went and, you know, gambled your money up at the boat and did this, and I done paid your rent, I done did this, and that's how you feel towards me. You know what I mean? So that part right there, man, like that was like one of, if not the worst feeling that I've ever had, like to go through, and I had to go through by myself. You know what I mean? And try to bounce back. Like I had to try to bounce back, and then dealing with the PTSD, and you know what I'm saying, can't sleep, and if anybody ever dealt with post-traumatic trauma disorder, man, like that's a real, like I'm talking about, you violently shake, and it's, you know, they giving me medicine and they trying to, you know, it was just so much going through in that hospital, and you going through that hospital by yourself. And you in that hospital by yourself, you know, you got the nurses coming in there, they rubbing on my head and they telling me I'm gonna be okay, because you reliving this, like that PTSD, you just reliving this over and over and over and over again. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a scary movie that's just constantly getting played in your head over again. So I'm shaking and jumping and screaming, and they coming in, running in the room, and they calming me down. And you know, and you going through that by yourself, you going through that with complete strangers around you. You know what I'm saying? So that by myself, like that by itself, like it didn't kill me, but it made me so strong. It made me so strong to understand one thing that I do understand. That's why I value people that I love. Like I value people that I love. I don't take that for granted. Like I'm not gonna try to hurt you. I'm not gonna try to do nothing to you. If anybody know me, they know Dale is a giver. He'll give you the shirt off his back. He love you, and if he say he love you, he gonna love you like that. You know, and I think I have got, you know, I'm not gonna say the short end of the stick, because the short end of the stick is the most valuable part of the stick. All you got to do is break a stick in half and see that long part can't do nothing without the short part. You need me to move. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say I got the short part of the stick, but I was always put in some situations where, you know, God was just building me up for where I'm at. He was building me. You know, and to build something, sometimes you gotta remove some bricks. You gotta knock a brick down here. You gotta shave some stuff down there. You gotta remove, and it ain't always gonna be pretty. It ain't always gonna look the way that we want it to look. You know, and yeah, man, that was hard. That was difficult. You know, that was difficult.
Yeah. So, first of all, that's a whole lot to take in and to digest. So I can only imagine what it was like to actually go through it. And alone, and hospitals are just cold anyway,
Yes.
in general. So who wants to be there for 8 long weeks by yourself when you know that your family is literally out there,
Listen.
and you know that you would never allow them to be there by themselves, right?
Absolutely.
Because the worst thing about going through something is feeling like you're alone. You know, like even if it don't necessarily make the situation better, but just not being alone, right? Because even was it Joe? When his friends came at one point and just sat with him, cool, right? And then the second thing is, I'm shocked that the staff was being so caring, because usually they don't give a damn about black people.
Yes, black people. So
that's good to
Yeah,
hear.
they actually they held me down, man. They really held me down, like, and man, they helped me get through it. Like they helped me get through that, you know. And the thing about it is, not even to this day, like I never brought it up to my mom. I never asked my mom, like, why you ain't never come see me. You know, I've never did that. I just for whatever reason, whatever they reasons was, I didn't care to know. I didn't care. You know, we was where I was at now, and where they was at, and where they are right now. Even right now to this day, like, man, my family don't support me. They don't support me in nothing that I do, and I'm fine with that. I'm not saying that to throw no dirt on my family now, because I love them. I still love them. If God told me to go bless them, I'm gonna go bless them. Whatever. But for whatever reason, hey, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because the God is always gonna put the people in my life that's going to support me the way that He wants them to
That's
support
the
me.
word. And he sent a special group of staff.
Absolutely.
Because
So
I'm telling you, in that hospital, because
yeah, because you just
you
don't know,
won't
just
forget what.
that by itself, man, that'll drive a person crazy.
yes, it would.
That'll drive a person stone crazy. Like you reliving, like it's just a lot of things that when I hear people talk about certain things, like with depression and stuff like that, like me, you know, done battled with depression before, and people be, oh, I'm depressed. Now, don't say you depressed, fam, because you don't want to go through that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go through that, because that's real. You know what I'm saying? With the medicine and all this, fam, that is real. Like, you ain't never balled up in your bed and cried for 6 straight months. And they be like, nah, who did that? I've done that. You know what I'm saying? So don't say you depressed because you ain't got no money, or you know what I'm saying, this done happen now. Like, no, fam, depression is real. Like that's stuff that we hear on these TVs and stuff like that, man. That stuff is real. But that's you know, want to be able to take yourself and put yourself in somebody else's shoes and say, man, damn, he had to go through this, or sis had to go through that. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but listen, I want to help you be better. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people we don't look, and you just think I had to go through all that, and I still had nobody to wrap their arms around me and say, how can I help you? So with all that being said, God had to still keep my mind and keep my heart and not turn me into a cold-blooded killer or something like that, just so he could get the glory out of my life today. So even with that process of being 18 years old, getting done to by somebody that you admire, that you look up to, or love with your dear heart, who you mimic, talk, and want to be like, and everything, he did you like this, and you have nobody to help you get through this. So right there, that's just letting you know the power of God saying, look, I know your family is not equipped to help you get through this. So I'm going to have to help you get through this. You know what I'm saying? So smoke all your weed. Don't think it's because I had got to a point where, man, I just started smoking so much weed to sleep, because that's the only way I could sleep, you know? So I just started smoking weed. Like I smoke 30, 40, 50 blunts a day. We'll just smoke till we can't smoke no more. You know what I'm saying? But that was so I could sleep. But it really wasn't the weed. It was God that was keeping me, saying, man, son, I know you think you know this marijuana doing it, but I got you. You know, and I got you, because you're not gonna be able to go through this without me. You know what I'm saying? And even though you don't know me, I know you. That's why the Bible say, you didn't choose me, I chose you. So everything that you go through, like, man, God chose me to go through that for whatever reason. Just like he chose Job. But guess what? For his shame, he got double.
Yes, he did.
You feel me?
That's what it said. That's what that book says. So obviously, you know, in reading the book, we see that there have been several situations where you've been hurt, where there's been fights, where people were retaliating against you. But usually what they say is, it's not the stab in the back that hurts you, right? It's when you turn around to see who stabbed.
Yes.
That's where the real hurt and pain comes in, because that's beyond the physical hurt. People always, you know, some people say you can heal from physical pain, but it's the emotional pain, right? Where it's just like, what? Like that's a different layer. And while there are no physical scars there, because it's emotional, it does exist and it is real. How did you rectify your uncle? Because you just said it, but I know in the first episode where we had you on, you went in great detail about how much you looked up to your uncle, how much you admired him, how you literally wanted to be him.
Yeah, he was like your idol.
Like he was your idol. There was nothing that you wouldn't do for him. And you know, that's your mama's brother.
Absolutely.
You know, so how did you rectify the fact that, okay, he's the one who did this to me?
And you know what? And that's an awesome question. But you know what though? On that hospital bed, when they came and asked me for his address, and I didn't give him and I didn't get him his address, I had already forgave him right then and there. You know what I'm saying? And if I would have gave him that address to go kill him, and they'd have killed him, I wouldn't be alive right now talking to y'all right now. Because I showed that grace, and then God showed me grace.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I might not have pulled the trigger, but I'm still as guilty as the trigger man. You know what I mean? So it was right then and there. Like it was right then and there. Was I angry? I'm never gonna say I wasn't angry. I was angry. I was totally angry, but I had forgave him. Like I forgave him right then and there. Like I couldn't see myself turning into the person he had just did. Like I couldn't see myself doing his children like that. You know what I mean? Regardless of what he did, I didn't die. I always told people that I didn't die. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't tripping. And it goes back to like in the second book, because I got shot a year before I got put in the trunk. So it even goes back to the night that I got shot. The night that I got shot, like the guy that shot me, I could have told the police on him. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, okay, I escaped with my life. They escaped with their lives. You know, God spared everybody tonight. I just the one end up getting shot. So it is what it is. Y'all going about y'all business. I'm gonna go about mine. You know what I'm saying? And the guys that shot me, we end up becoming close friends after they shot me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it was just like wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't my neighborhood. I'm with one of my cousins who I shouldn't have been with. You know what I'm saying? That I know that even about this life that we doing. You know what I'm saying? He carry guns, but he don't tote them. I tote guns. You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't even been in the middle of a situation with him like that. You know what I'm saying? And God was giving me so many telltale signs that he was scared, but I pushed the envelope. You know what I'm saying? I push the envelope. Let's go get him. Let's go kill him. You know what I'm saying? Push the envelope, and I end up getting shot. So when the police asked me, like, man, who shot you? I said, I don't know. I said, it was a gang of people. They just all got to shoot. I said, I don't know who shot me. He said, I'm not even from this neighborhood, sir. I don't know none of these guys over here. We was out here kicking it with the females. Somebody came up. They got the shooting. I got shot. I don't know. But I knew I fell right in front of the guy's face. He clicking the gun in my face.
Yeah.
He ran out of bullets. He clicking the gun in my face. I mean, I'm looking dead up at him. I see the man every day. We over my cousin baby mama house. You know what I'm saying? I see the man every day. Like, he didn't kill me. I didn't kill them. I was shooting at them first. I started the one. I the one started shooting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like with that, you have to take the bitter with the sweet and say, hey, like, now you done got shot. Now you want to go tell?
Right.
You know? So it's like, man, I don't know. And then the next day, man, I got out the hospital the next morning and I walked down their block. I went to go see them. They saw me coming, running to the gangways, grabbing their pistols and all that. No, fam, I just want to talk to y'all. Now I'm by myself.
Wow.
It's me, my best friend, and her mama. I'm by myself. And I walk down their block and I say, hey, man, I just want to talk to y'all, fam. Hey, man, what you want? Look, bro, all that stuff that happened last night, man, that's squash, man. I don't want no beef with y'all, fam. Like, that didn't even have nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? And they got it, called it for them. They head guy, he came outside and he said, Shorty, let me tell you something, because he was older than us. I was like 17, 18. He said, Shorty, let me tell you something. You got the heart of a champion.
Yes.
He said, fam, you got the heart of a champion. He said, first of all, the stunt you pulled last night, you know what I'm saying? You get to shoot at us in our neighborhood, and then you walk down our block. I got a cast on my shooting arm. I don't got no gun on me. He said, man, he said, Shorty, what's your name? I told him my name. He said, from here on out, hey, man, don't nobody say nothing to this guy, man. I said, man, you can come over here, smoke with us, drink with us, man. You cool. And that's how we got cool, man. That's how me and the guys got cool, because I understood, like, what can y'all do that ain't been done to me? Y'all can't do nothing but kill me.
Wow.
All y'all can do is kill me. I wasn't scared to die. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, where I was at, that was like a home away from home. That was when I wanted to get away from the hundreds and I wanted to come over there. One thing I was always taught, you can't have enemies everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere you go, you can't have enemies. So I knew I had to make that peace with them, because I needed the neighborhood where I'm at, in this neighborhood. I need to be able to come let my hair down when I'm over here and not chill. I don't need no gun. I don't need none of that. And man, I did that. And man, it was beneficial towards me, because anytime that I had any problem, like when I wanted to just get away, I can always go over my best friend crib, and man, I could just chill. I could just be Dale. I ain't got to be my block name. I don't got to be Super BD or nothing. I could just be Dale. You know what I'm saying? And man, we all needed that, but it was just so sad that we all didn't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting. It's something that's like
50 Cent, I hope you listening, man.
We hope he listening too. Okay.
I know, right?
Give us a cameo, you know.
I'm trying to tell you, I hope you listening, man. Let's do something, baby.
We can use the studio in LA, okay? Shout out to our TGN
Hello, somebody.
Okay. But no, as you're talking about that, it's kind of making me think, like when you just said, like at the time, you wasn't worried about like dying, like you weren't afraid to die. But thinking about how far you've come and the things that you've done and the souls that you saved, in that time span, to think like if your life had been cut short, if grace would have run out, the things that you would not have had the opportunity to do you think you would have been satisfied with the life that you had, that you were living at the time? That now thinking back to that.
No, because what I would have what would have got me was selling my children short.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with me. Like, I was just on the phone with one of my sons the other day, and he was just like, "Pops, you work hard, man. I see you." And I tell him, I said, "Man, I do this for y'all. Like, this is for y'all. Like the Bible said, a father's supposed to leave his children's children, an inheritance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything that I do it for my children. I do it for my wife and my children, man. And I try to get them the best life possible, you know. And so if anything would have happened to me, like me going to jail forever, or me, what I'm saying, getting killed or something like that, my children would have suffered. And that would have been something I would have had to, sit in hell and think about every day, because you think about, you still remember your people and everything around you in hell, if people don't know that. So, just being in hell, because I know that's why I was going, you know what I'm saying? Just thinking about my children, man, and I think about that quite often too, Chanel, man. That's a good question. I think about that often, of if I would have died in the middle of my mess, how my children, out of my 11 kids, I done seen 5 of them graduate from high school, and there's people out here that got 1 and 2 kids that ain't never seen them graduate from high school. You know what I mean? So it's things like that, man, that I'm proud of as a dad. Raising my children to be respectful, and raising my children, to shy away from them gangs, and make them understand why education is important. Not yelling and screaming at them and telling them they get on my nerves and I hate them and beating them and doing all that, but just loving on them. And at the time, a lot of the things, I was just loving on them the best way that I knew how, by buying them stuff, buying them a lot of things. But a lot of the things that I was doing, it was keeping them where I needed them to be. And to God was showing me how to actually love them as a parent. See, I know how to love my children as a dad now. I didn't know how to love them as a dad. I just bought them a lot of stuff. I just bought them everything that they did, everything that they wanted, you know what I'm saying, because I had the money to. But I didn't love them because I didn't love myself. You know what I mean? So I didn't know how to love my children. And I'm man enough to sit on here and say that, and I'll tell anybody that, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just get yourself around men and women that know how to love their children, and you watch. That's why the Bible say, man, it takes a village. Because I need some of Sherry advice. I need some of Chanel advice. I need some of Pastor Locke advice, Lady Kim, and then I'm a get to my house, and I'm gonna take this advice and that advice. I'm gonna put it in a pot, and we gonna get whatever we get out of it. But just being able to just be a part of my kids' life, man, that's my number one thing. So everything that I do, man, I do it for them. Like I do it for them. So yeah, that would have been probably the hardest thing to do. Watching knowing that my kids would have had to grow up without me, without their dad, like the way that I grew up without my dad, and I seen how that affected me. So man, yeah, that would have been tough. That would have been tough. And I know it would have been tough on my children, because my children, they adore me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my children, they love me. Like, they believe dad is Superman. Like, my dad do everything, you know what I'm saying? But I be have to remind them every day, look, y'all, dad don't sell drugs no more. Like, y'all gotta get some jobs now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta save some money now. You know what I'm saying? But you know what though? And me and my wife, we talk about this often, because she tell me, like, you just don't want them kids to do nothing. I don't want them to do nothing but be children. That's all I want them to do. I just want them to be children. I don't want them to have to worry about nothing and then have to want to figure out how they can do it on their own. Let me do the worrying. I'll do it, and y'all just worry about being kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just as long as y'all do that, everything else gonna be fine. And man, so far so good.
So far, so good. Wow. So then, how do you make the shift, right, from to make this whole transformation that we talked about? Like, how do you separate yourself from the situations, the people, the environment that is no longer serving you?
Man, at the end of the day, sis, one thing I love about the Holy Spirit is so smart. The Holy Spirit is so intelligent. Like the Holy Spirit keeps me, you
Mm.
know. So when you have the Holy Spirit that dwells inside of you, it just keep you from some things. Like you know better. Like I know not to go over here. Why would I go? Why would I go sit at somebody's house that's chopping up cocaine and I'm watching them count all this money when I know I'm not where I want to be financially? And I know at any given day, all I got to do is make a phone call and say, man, let me get that just so I can, you know what I'm saying? So you just got to be smart. You have to understand, like, it's just certain things that I just can't do. It's just certain things that I'm not going to do. You know what I mean? I gotta, if my issue with women, how I let somebody trick me to go to a strip club. You feel what I'm saying? It's just certain things like that. Like you got to be smart. Like no, you ain't you wanted to go there. Like you got to. It's just certain things you got to understand. Like no, it's just certain things that I just can't do. You may can do it. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And a person have to understand that. And if a person don't understand that, you just need to cut them off. I just gotta cut you off because you means me no good. And there's nothing wrong with what you doing. I'm not knocking what you doing, but don't knock what I'm doing and don't try to come disturb me. And and like when I get these phone calls, and that's what I always have to tell my guys, like, hey man, you know what I'm doing, right? And and they, yeah, man, but I'm just saying, no, you not just saying, look, I'm asking you not to do that. Bro, if you do that again, I'm gonna have to put you on my block list. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when they, man, Dale, you serious? Yeah, bro, I'm serious. Like I'm serious. Like I don't want to do that no more. And they begin to get it. But what I get my joy from is now my guys from our neighborhood, they're beginning to reach out to me, bro. Can you pray for me? How can you do this? You know what I'm saying? So it's like these messages that I've been sending out for 7 years. Man, I've been planting them seeds. They finally starting to grow. They might not grow when you think they're gonna grow, but now my buddies from the neighborhood, from the old neighborhood, rival gangs and stuff, hit me on Facebook. Man, bro, man, I see what you're doing, man. You don't mind praying for me, man? I'm going through this and I'm going through that. Now I could talk to somebody that I used to shoot at. And we done had an hour conversation on Messenger just talking. And I'm telling him, man, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your kids, bro, without making them feel less than.
Right.
Without making them feel, oh man, if you don't stop that, you going to hell. And no, don't nobody want to hear that. It is. I don't have a heaven and hell to put you in. So why would I tell you going to hell because you doing something that I used to do with you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just my job to love on you. It's my job to just love on you and let you know, hey man, the same God that I serve, and he did this for me, he wants to do this for you, but you have to want him to do it. And man, it's just been a delight, man, and I'm just grateful, man. Listen, I'm just grateful, and man, God is good, and man, I thank him because he didn't have to choose me.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. Look, time and flew by. So we
ain't touched the surface. Lord.
So part 3 coming soon.
Part 3,
when we get together, y'all, that's why I love you ladies so much, because when we get together, it's so authentic. It ain't like nobody trying to force nothing, because they done been on some interviews. I'd be like, is it that time? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, it just don't be authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come at me with sideways, and you really just don't, you just all over the place. With us, it just be authentic, and it be so much love, and it just be so much, it be genuine. And these the type of interviews, and it be seeming like, man, an hour, 20 minutes that went past that fast, but it was like, man, when you go back and listen to it, like I done listened to the first one, man, some souls gonna be saved out of it. So you know what I'm saying? That's all that matters, and that this hour and 20 minutes, man, God gonna get the glory up out of it. Some souls gonna get saved out of it. And if it's His will, we'll be back on number 3, number 4, number 5, and
Number 7.
you know what I'm saying?
It's a lot.
We gonna keep
It's a
doing it,
lot.
like, man, because I appreciate it, you know. And one thing, like, listen, like I said, man, I admire what you ladies are doing. You ladies are great. I believe in y'all dream. I believe in what y'all doing. I'm proud of y'all, man. Keep doing what y'all doing. And man, whatever. It's whatever. Let's do it. Like, man, whatever, man. Any topic that y'all think that I'm gonna fit in, man, ask me. Hey, bro, you want to get?
All
I'm
of them.
on it. I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm on it. Let's go. You know what
All
I'm
of
saying?
them. Like, your life is so, it's not
It's
so
not a box.
dimensional.
Listen, you are not in no box. You have lived a
You
life.
are totally not in the box.
Not at
Totally
all.
not in the box.
Yes.
Because a part of me is like, maybe we should have one focused on parenting, and then we're gonna have one on the.
I thought of that
And then
too.
I'm like, and then like family, you know, like like with your uncle, like, you know. But we ain't gonna get into all that right now.
Man,
But
just let me know, man. Oh, I'm grateful out, man. You know, I'm a come in and I'm gonna give y'all 100%. And man,
absolutely.
I'm praying for y'all. And hey, man, this gonna be one of the biggest podcasts in the world, not the country, in the world. So man, y'all just get prepared for it, man. I'm speaking it. Y'all
We
get prepared
receive
for it.
it.
We received that for sure.
So what are we gonna put in the to-go box? I'll start
Hmm.
with you, Chanel.
Wow. Again, a lot of gems, and we didn't even touch a lot on the book. This conversation was just going. So I think for me, what stood out is the accountability piece. But I think that comes with maturing. I think that comes over time. And I think that comes with grace. And that was kind of an overarching theme that we talked about was grace, but just accountability in the things that you do, and not beating yourself up when you don't have that accountability piece, but just growing and learning in it. And then when you come to realize that, okay, I do need to hold myself accountable, then you're gentle with yourself. You're allowing yourself some grace. Because I think just for me personally, like if I'm not accountable, I'll kind of beat myself up and I'll just be salty about it. But I need to extend myself some grace as well. So I think that's what
Yeah,
I'm taking away.
that's good, sis. That's good too.
Mr. Wendell or Dale, as you call yourself. I feel like we're on that
I
Yeah,
do.
all the time.
nickname basis now.
Now, so still,
All the time, all the time. Man, it was a lot. But one thing that I take out of this, and you know, people just, man, just know that God loves you. God wants the best for you. You know, put God first. You'll never finish last. If you don't know Him, get to know Him. You have a friend in Jesus, man. That's your friend. I wouldn't tell you to do something that I wouldn't do. Like I take my salvation very seriously. And like, man, just I understand. Listen, the world is messed up going through it by itself. I couldn't imagine going through life right now without Jesus. You know what I mean? So for those that people that don't know him, man, get to know him. Um and man, he'll change your life. Like he'll change your life, man. So with that being said, like, man, this was really a emotional. Like I was emotional with this interview. Like it touched a lot of things in me. Like, you know, so just being able to just talk about it, express it, and with the people. Like, man, I want. I hope this interview helped some people tonight. You know, and that's really the goal of everything that you ladies do. You know, y'all always trying to help. So, man, I just hope somebody was helped. And I hope somebody find salvation out of it. You know, that's my prayer.
That's good.
Amen.
That's good. Amen. Right. Now I'm about to do the benediction. If you don't know Jesus, the pardon of your sins. Right. Repeat this short, simple prayer. You know how they say on the program. But what I'm gonna take away is to never become what hurt you.
Mm.
And
That's
I say that because I think that that's what you demonstrated over and over in the book. Because during that, you know, a lot of people go tit for tat, right? You did this to me, so I got to do this. Like I got to get you back, right? We got to get even. Um, but I think what you did with your uncle, because you're right, he didn't think about his own sister, your mama, right? He didn't think about the other family members that would be impacted. Um, he reacted, right?
Mhm.
And then you had the opportunity to do unto him what was done to you, but instead you chose peace,
Absolutely.
right? And it's just a reminder that we always have that choice, right? Just because somebody hurt us or somebody did something to us, we do not have to respond in kind. We can choose peace. We can walk away. We
Yes.
can have clean hands. We can forgive them, right? And a lot of times I think forgiveness is demonstrated when we don't retaliate. To me,
Absolutely.
that's because to me, you don't forgive me if you're trying to retaliate. I don't
Mhm.
forgive you if I'm trying to retaliate against you,
Right, right,
because
right.
the essence of forgiveness means I don't want what happened to be different, right? It means I accept what happened. It means that I'm going to move forward in the way that will serve me and what happened. And I don't wish ill will on you. I don't wish harm on you. And I don't want you to suffer. So,
Absolutely.
uh, vengeance belongs to the Lord,
Yes, yes, yes.
right? That's really where that goes. So it is better for us, but I know that everybody can't do that, right? It's not easy to do because for some reason it is in us to kind of like want to get people back. But
Mhm.
the higher road is to always choose peace. And I know it was hard for you, but you did it. And so, yeah, it's don't become what hurt you, because
Yeah.
when you do that, then you're just continuing a cycle. And at
Yes.
some point, you got to break it. You
Yeah.
got to break it and choose yourself and choose, hopefully, peace.
That
You
Indeed.
was,
know, what would Jesus do?
yeah.
Turn the other cheek,
There we
right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
WWJD. Mhm.
Right.
That was good. That was good.
Alrighty. So, thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties podcast. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
That was good.